Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV for episode 26 of Weekly Surgery, a solo special from your main man, Albert JTV. But before we get into this, people, let's smash the intro. Footballing community, waiting time is now over. The Albert JTV practice is now open. The surgery required is Premier League talk and any other business. Let's get to work. Welcome to the Weekly Surgery. Yes, people, welcome back once again to Albert JTV on a late night Sunday evening. Got the Clark Kent glasses on, the background, as you can see, promoting Albert JTV. But yeah, man, Weekly Surgery's been a while, people. I need to bring it back and do 3 more solos, get back to the roots of when I started YouTube. So if and when you do arrive, if you're not here already, or you watch this live on Facebook or on the Twitter feed, or X, should I say now, and also on YouTube, smash the like, share, retweet, and share the love. But yeah, Weekly Surgery is back, man. As you can see along the bottom of the screen, people, my other social media outputs and to the bot and to my top left-hand side, as you look at the screen, I always get it wrong. You have my Twitter and Instagram handles, so please do follow as well as subscribe to Albert JTV. Yeah, as you people know, if you don't know already, Weekly Surgery, it is obviously, I'm an Arsenal fan, as you well know, but I talk about other Premier League business and anything that catches my attention. So I'm gonna leave Arsenal till last. If you get any questions that you want to put in the chat, do put a Q before it and then ask a question, but I'll probably see it anyway. But I try not to deviate away too much. But if you could kindly, please, people, don't just touch the like button, smash it at the ballpark and get them algorithms up, as I like to say. But yeah, where do I start, man? What am I going to start with? I'm gonna start with the Manchester Derby, actually. Whether it's the Manchester Derby, Merseyside Derby, obviously North London Derby, even the Old Firm Derby. I do like to keep an eye out and watch football. As I always like to say, as much as I love Arsenal, I am a football lover first and foremost. So I watch a lot of ball. But yeah, I think, did the game go the way I thought it would do? Yeah, I probably did think that, to be honest with you. City would dominate possession. You know, Man United have had a very not a great start, let's be honest. They're 50-50 now, their results. I think they've won 5, lost 5, no draws in between. They've made some interesting signings in the summer window. But yeah, City, listen, I think City showed today why. If whether it be Arsenal fans or fans of other rival clubs, why these guys have won the amount of leagues they've won in recent years. Is it 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7? People said, you know what, they were the treble winners. Are they going to be on it? Is the focus there? But if I'm just looking at that game today in isolation, they were superb, particularly in that second half. They was amazing. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Andre Onana, it could have been worse, much worse. But yeah, City are just when they get it right, they're an amazing team to watch, man. And I want to talk about one player in particular, actually. If I can find him, where's he gone? Who is a fantastic footballer first and foremost. I'll talk about this guy, Bernardo Silva, man. Different class, man. I think City got him in 2017, if I've got that right, from Monaco. And you know what? There's been times when it's been spoken about with him where he might not. There's a possibility that he would leave City, but as you've seen, with even though they've got an amazing squad, the likes of KDB's been out for quite a while now. Rodri had a recent suspension, which he's come back from. This guy's probably one of their most important players. You know, he can play in a multitude of positions. You could play him as a 6. You could play him as in a number 10 role, and you can play him out wide. He's that technically gifted, and his football intelligence and IQ is of a different level. And today's performance by him in particular shouldn't really be a surprise, really. To if you've been watching, even if you are an Arsenal fan or you support another club in the Premier League, if you watch this guy's performances in the Manchester City shirt, whether KDB has been there, hasn't been there, certain players missing, maybe players off form. This guy is relentless in his consistency. He's amazing. And I think he signed another year. So I think he signed a contract extension, which takes him right through to 2025, 26 season. And when you see the performance that you saw today, you see why. I thought United started okay, but once City got settled and they got into the game, now people talk about the penalty, right? For example, they say it was a bit soft. When we say that now, you can say it's soft. Either for me, I looked at it, I thought it was a penalty personally. I think there's been hundreds of millions of examples like that in the Premier League, whether it be this season or last season, where I've seen much worse contact in the box and it's not been given. Football's a contact sport, apparently. But football's a contact sport. But when I see people getting belly flopped and wrestled to the ground like it's WWF, then that goes beyond the point of just a bit of a kerfuffle in the area or in the box. Like, it was a penalty for me. When you defend like that, you give the referee an option to give a free kick. And even on top of that, to be honest, because of the introduction of VAR, it was only going to go one way. Once they go to the screen, it's very, very rare in a position where you instantly give a penalty as a ref. It then gets referred. You go look at the VAR. When the initial decision is given as a penalty, shall I say, and you go look at VAR, it's very rare it got overturned. I actually think one got overturned for Arsenal this season, wasn't it? When Anthony Taylor was in charge, was it the United home game? I'd have to double check. I'm not too sure, but yeah, City in that second half, man, they were just majestic, man. Haaland has already got 11 goals. I think he's 3 clear of Min Son, and I can't remember the other striker that's on the 8 goals as well. But yeah, he looks he looks imperious already, Haaland. It'd be interesting to see actually how he does in terms of goals return. I mean, he's had a good start anyway this season so far, as well as doing well off the back of last season. But I think for anyone that wanted to question whether the appetite was there with City, and it's hard to come into a new season when you've won the treble. And I think the thing that helps them even more so, yes, they're still in the Champions League and the FA Cup doesn't start till January, but they're out of the Carabao Cup. So they don't have to worry about contending with another fixture during the week. And that is only going to be a benefit. It's the same thing with Spurs. They're not, they're out of the League Cup already. They're not in Europe. So that's on 2 fronts already out. So they've only got to concentrate really when the FA Cup starts in January, depending on who they get, and the league. 1 game a week, 2 games a week makes a huge difference, particularly if either one, your squad isn't big enough, or 2, the quality in your squad isn't to the level or the depth that it is to compete at the top level, to compete for honors, should I say. So people, like I said, when you do join the chat, smash a like and say a virtual hello or drop a question in, and I'll answer it as cordially as I can. But yeah, City, man. And to be honest with you, watching that game today, I mean, I've seen some of the United fans out there who, like fellow YouTubers, who've just gone into, I think meltdown's too easy to use the word, but I think maybe they've got to a point now. I'll get on well with a particular Man United fan. I'll get on well with Dan. Big up to you, man. Although you probably feel it at the moment, but yeah, Ten Hag's I think United will stick with him. But having said that, if the results continue the way they continue, then he's in trouble. And I was watching on Sky Sports. I don't know if you people saw the signings that have been bought under Ten Hag. I'm gonna see if I can try and find it quickly. I did take a quick snap of it. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? I've got it right here. So major signings under Ten Hag. So let's go from bottom to top. So you've got 4 loan signings: Sergio Reguilon, Sofian Amrabat, Wout Weghorst is gone. Obviously, Sabitzer is gone. You had two free signings in there. Christian Eriksen came from Brentford and Johnny Evans from Leicester. And the money they spent, I think there's the guy that's gone to Fenerbahce, is it Altay Bayındır, 4.3 million. Tyrone Malassia's gone to Feyenoord. They bought it. Sorry, Malassia's come to fight. He's gone to Feyenoord. Shall I say? Sorry, come in. Sorry, he's come in. He's come in. Shall I say? Come in, not gone out. Come in. Got it wrong. Right. Andre Onana's come in. Lisandro Martinez, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Rasmus Højlund, Anthony. I mean, Anthony's 85.4 million. Rasmus Højlund 72 million. Casemiro 70. Mason Mount 60. Lisandro Martinez 56.7. Andre Onana 47.2. Malacia 14.7, and the goalkeeper I think is Altay Bayındır Fenerbahce 4.3 million. Yeah, he's been backed all right. But I think, if I'm not a United fan, so I can't speak on that in that sense, but I think the fans probably would ask themselves is, what signings out of those signings under Ten Hag has been a good signing? And you probably get a quicker response to that question than you think. I look at the list again, just looking at it now. Anthony costs 85.4 million for his return from what I've seen, and I'm not even a United fan. That's a poor investment. Rasmus Højlund, you've got to give a bit more time because he's young, he's raw, he's not the finished article. Casemiro at his age, yes, he's a top player, but at his age coming to United, you know, Mason Mount, you know, I look at some of their signings, and I'll be honest, I said this on Same Old Arsenal when he's asked the predictions for top four, who's going to win the domestic cup competitions or the Champions League. Now, this is before kind of the start of the summer window, maybe probably even before it. I had United in the top four because I thought, look, they got in the top, they finished third last season. They won a trophy. They're going to kick on. They do. Yes, there's a lot of debt within that club, but they do spend a lot of money in that. So I thought they would identify and get it right. But as I just reeled off the names in terms of the guys that have come in under Ten Hag, you got to think to yourself, this is not looking good. But yeah, City just Haaland, man. Yeah. One thing you do need, they say defenses win your league titles, yeah, and they do. But what you also need is you need a killer in the box in the 18-yard area, and this guy is that. I'm actually surprised he didn't get a hat trick today. He should have had the header in the first half when he should have headed it to me. He should have headed it. He should have headed it away from Onana as opposed to it coming into him. But 11 goals already. I don't even think he's even got out a second or third gear. And someone has just joined the chat. I'm going to come to my YouTube Tottenham wife in a minute because Holly Agambar has joined the chat. Holly, welcome to my weekly surgery solo. I've done one before. Need to get back to my roots in the solo streams. I do like them. Like to engage in my. Holly, drop a question if you feel like it. But we need to collab soon. I'm surprised you're actually in the chat. I'm surprised you're still not at whatever stadium they held them, the S Club 7 gods that you went to yesterday. Was it in London? I'm sure you came to London again. You did tell me. I'm sure you did. But yeah, talking a good evening. Yeah, Aston Villa. Yeah, wow. Since Emery's come there last season, they've been exceptional. Absolutely exceptional. But yeah, I want to talk about someone else actually. Because the Manchester, yeah, like I said, City, Imperious, United got a load of problems. And leave Arsenal to last. But I want to talk about this guy, man. I knew the game was on, El Clasico. I saw brief highlights of it. I watched it this morning because obviously it came through. Jude Bellingham scored again, but he is just something else. I mean, as long as I've been watching football, I'm trying to think of players that not even necessarily to do with Arsenal. Just you watch a player and you think, wow, he does something. He does have something different. That's something remarkable and something special. And you know, even I'll take it back to, you know, he made his debut for Birmingham City at 16, and that season, back in I think it was 2019, he made his debut as a 16-year-old. It wasn't like he was he was bench warming. He had quite a few games in that season, like 16 years old making your debut in professional football. And it was not like he was playing in non-league football. I think at the time Birmingham would have been in the championship or now the EFL championship, whatever it's called now. Sky Bet Championship it's called now. 16 years old, he made his debut. And then he gets the move. I mean, there was plenty of talk about, a lot of big clubs in England were interested in him, and obviously, word spreads and people show interest in youngsters coming through the ranks. And I think at the time it was said that it wasn't disclosed how much he went from Birmingham to Borussia Dortmund. But I think I sort of did a bit of digging and the research. Apparently, they say sources wise it was around 25 million. I mean, that's a lot for a 16-year-old going on 17, going to a completely different country. You're not going to know too many people of your age in another country, let alone maybe even in England. But yeah, that's a big move, and you're seeing a lot more youngsters go over to the Bundesliga and other leagues because they want to play football. They're young, they're hungry, and I believe he actually scored on his debut for Borussia Dortmund as well. It's incredible. I mean, I was looking at it. I think he joined Dortmund in 2020. Like I said, I think it was. They say it's rumored around 25 million, even though the fee was undisclosed. And yeah, he scored in his debut for Borussia Dortmund. Great experience, regular football, only 17 at the time. He's only 20 now, I think, to be honest with you. And then obviously he's got the world record, he's got a big money move to one of the biggest clubs in world football, Real Madrid. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And I've got to be honest with you about Jude Bellingham. Let me come to the chat quickly. Let me see. Holly's talking about. Honestly, I'm dead. Yeah, O2 again. Thoughts on Advil? That's my question. You think you're so funny? I will come to that. But yeah, back to Jude Bellingham. Jude, man, the superstar Jude. Yeah, he I've got to be honest. You hear a lot of things about a lot of youngsters when they come through, whether academy ranks at a particular boyhood club or they've come through another club, and you don't always see him play. But I would say the first time I saw snippets of Jude Bellingham, more so when he was in the England setup. When we had the Euros here in England, where he featured here and there, and you saw a little bit of potential there. And then when he was played in the World Cup in Qatar, I thought, wow, now I'm beginning to see why people were excited about this guy. And also as well, he interviews fantastically well. I remember seeing an interview with him. I think it was Darren Lewis did the interview with him not long after England lost the Euro final to Italy. For someone who, at the time, I assume he would have been 18, 19, how someone can speak so maturely and so fantastically, it's incredible. But yeah, when I saw him in the World Cup, I thought, wow, now I'm seeing what they're talking about. I thought he was exceptional in the World Cup, along with Saka and Declan Rice. The guy's class. And I mean, in Madrid, I think he had 10 appearances and 10 goals and 2 assists. I mean, this guy is playing like he's playing in the street, like with his mates in the park or caged football. I mean, the key thing with him is just to stay fit. I mean, he's already had 27 England caps. He's got a couple of goals. And he's in 20. Keep this boy fit. Listen, England have got an abundance of talent. Who they could build a team around a number of people. You could talk about your Fodens, you could talk about your Madisons, your Sakas, but this guy, Jude Bellingham, honestly, I don't think Gareth will be there. I think it'd be right if he goes after the Euros in Germany. 4 tournaments is a lot for a national team manager of any country. And what I don't want to see, as good as Jude Bellingham is, as good as Saka is, James Maddison, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, I would hate to see. I know James and Holly's in the chat, and I'm sure they would agree, to see this generation wasted under Southgate's tenure for as long as he has had as England manager. That's my own personal belief. But Jude Bellingham is exceptional. The first goal was an absolute freight train bullet, missile. And what I liked about the second goal, obviously, it's the winner, but that is a classic midfield player making a run in the box. and getting on the end of things. He's playing with the likes of experiences like Tony Kroos and Luka Modric, and you got Vinicius Junior there, and Danny Carver. And he's gone there and he's bossing like he's been there for years. Carlo Ancelotti must be looking at it thinking, is this kid really 20? Wow. I mean, he's already played really men's football, arguably, for a good 4 years now across 3 different countries. It's absolutely insane how good this guy is. Yeah, plaudits him, and I hope he continues to dominate. It'd be interesting to see what he ends up with this season in terms of assists, goals, and any other stats that are out there. So, what a start to his La Liga career, man, and at Real Madrid. 10 goals he scored, and that's just the league. He's got a few in it. He's got a couple in the Champions League as well. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Let me come to the chat quickly because I know James and Holly's in there. Thoughts on Ange Ball? That's my question. I'm going to come to that actually. James has got one in there. Go on, Jimmy Changa, best looking man in Essex. In terms of England, do you, Albert, put Bellingham as a 10, or do you play him and Rice Central or Madison Foden as a 10? James, what a question. James has answered it. What did you think? I'll go Rice, Bellingham, and Madison personally. Yeah, the Foden one's interesting, man, because I thought he would be. If you'd have said to me 2 years ago when he missed the Euro final, I'd have said to you he'd be a definite starter for England, 100 million%. But he isn't. That's down to the manager. But when you see Phil Foden play today, like the Manchester Derby, you're thinking this talent's absolutely ridiculous how good he is. But yeah, let me come to James' question. I'm going to come back to Holly's question. Bellingham. Let me see. In the 10, do you play him Rice Central, Madison, Foden's a 10? If I could, James, I'd love to get all of them in the team. I would like to see. I'd love to see Foden in the 10, but you know what, Madison. It's not saying England is so spoiled for choices, but you've asked a question, but I wouldn't play Bellingham as a 10. When he plays for England, how do you see him more play? Listen, this guy can play anywhere, to be honest with you. But John, you've gone for Rice, Bellingham, and Madison. And that's irrespective of Southgate. Take Southgate out of the equation, I assume, of course. I think we all do that. I would go with that, what you're saying, but I like, you know what? It's hard because I like Foden, man. But Madison's playing unbelievable. And to be fair, it's not just because how he's done well at Tottenham. He was very good in a poor Leicester side. The key thing with him is keeping fit. Because he had a few injury troubles at Leicester last season. But obviously Declan Rice, Bellingham. I think I like to see Foden play there personally, but I wouldn't go against seeing Bellingham there, to be honest, as well. But it's a tough question. It's a good question. It's a tough question because England are really spoiled in that area of the pitch. I'd say from midfield to your front three, they're sport for riches, honestly. Holly, thoughts on Ange Ball? I hate it. No, I'm joking. That's too easy to say. It's funny because I had this conversation with Ray Super Cassim, man, and I had a couple of conversations with some Arsenal fans at the game yesterday. That I see a lot of Arsenal fans getting really sort of upset and jumping on social media. And I mean, I watched the Palace Tottenham game, and I mean, I'll be truthful. I don't know why some of them are saying that Tottenham were lucky. I thought they could have won 3 or 4-0. Palace got a late goal, but they didn't hurt Tottenham in any aspect whatsoever. The Tottenham the football under Postecoglou is unrecognizable from what I saw under Conte and Mourinho and for Nuno for the time that he was there. The thing is, I always say this, and I don't get too caught up in the whole social, because you know what it is on the X space. I always believe there's fans within your fan base. You just let them do the talking in terms of the social media. Let them do it. Let them do the banter. Let them do the taking the mickey. Let them do that. There's plenty of fans in the Arsenal fan base that will get angry or they'll banter. I let them do that because that's not my forte. That's not my thing. I come on here, I do my weekly surgery, I do my podcast, my streams. I talk about football with yourself, Holly and James, and many other people I collab with. The X social media banter side of it. There's so many people out there that do it. I don't need to join in as well. But yeah, Tottenham weren't lucky, man. They deserve to beat Palace. They could have been by more. If you can't, I always say this, if you cannot enjoy your team winning games of football. Oh no, hopefully you guys can hear me. I can see that my screen has paused. So this is not going well for a live stream, but hopefully I will go and come back in. Hopefully it will work. Oh no. I'm back, people. Holly, hopefully, I don't know. I was knocked out for about 2 or 3 minutes. So hopefully, people, you can see me and hear me. Give me a shout, Brenny. Big up to you and Holly. So I don't know how far I got of my monologue before it just completely cut out. It's funny because you know what it is. Normally, to avoid anything like this happening, what I would always do is I would send the link to myself in my inbox, and if anything went wrong, I'll quickly grab my phone or my iPad, and then I'll prevent that from happening. But yeah, that's never happened before. That's never ever happened before. But hopefully, I don't even know where I got to. Holly, I was talking about Ange Ball. Where's she gone? Yeah, it happened actually. Yeah, it happened. I'll tell you when it happened, Brenny, right? It happened when I did the watch along for Chelsea, but luckily it was half time. It just completely froze, completely froze. I was like, "What is going on?" But I was lucky that it's in the halftime break that I could actually reset my laptop and come back. So this would be a very interesting stream to download. So what I'll do is, audio listeners, if you get to a point where I do actually put this on audio, you might hear a little bit of a gap in between the stream and me coming back because apparently it's been a technical issue for a lot of people, which I've been told in the chat. So Holly, did you hear what I was saying about your flaming Ange Ball? But yeah, I think what I was saying is, I think the most important thing I was saying was that I think for any football fan, let's be serious. Let's be really serious here. If you cannot enjoy your team winning games of football, what's the point in watching it? And if you're playing good football on top of that, it's going to be even more enjoyable. Now, I think what helps Spurs, to be honest with you, is the fact that you haven't got any European competition. You're already out of one domestic cup, so you don't have to worry about a game on Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever they're going to play the League Cup games. Like I said, you haven't got the Thursday night football in terms of Europe, and you haven't got the Tuesday or Wednesday night in terms of Europe. So that's going to make a massive, massive difference. I don't think you've got a massive squad, Holly, either as well. But big up to you guys in the chat. If you haven't already, smash the like button. I am back on the screen. That's never happened before in all the years I've been in YouTube. But it's true. Like, you can't. That's what I saw when I saw some of the Arsenal fans losing their heads when Tottenham won. I'm like, go out on a Friday night. Go and take the dog for a walk in the late night. Whatever you do in your spare time. But like, let's be serious, man. Come on, man. Like, let's stop being ridiculous. I hope Spurs fall off a cliff, but at the moment, they haven't lost a game in the Premier League. Arsenal haven't lost a game in the Premier League. They're playing good football. Madison's been probably the signing of the summer. Is it arguable? Not really, to be honest, what I've seen. Obviously, I love my Declan jollof rice, of course, but James Madison's been excellent. He's got Sonny playing a bit more central, which actually, think about it, I listened to Ange talk. Was it before the game or after? I think it's before the game, to play him a bit more central. The guy can finish. The guy can absolutely finish. So why not put him a little bit more central? Son's, he's 29, 30 now, is he, Holly? He's more than adaptable to play a bit more central and to be on the end of things. You've brought in Brennan Johnson, who can play wide right or wide left, is it? Let him do the donkey work and let him do the work to stretch defenders. Leave your main man in Son. I think Son's the other guy who's got 8 goals actually as well, isn't he, in the Premier League? But let me come to chat quickly. Yeah, I thought you might agree with that, Holly. Brenny, big up Brenny, man. Brenny, definitely going to get you on this season, man. It's too much happening at Arsenal to get you on. I was saying we need to drop out Europa League to fix the mess. Yeah, listen, I said this to you, Holly, about Mickey van der Ven. Like, I watched him, when I see him at the Emirates, I couldn't believe how tall he was, man. I thought, Jesus Christ. But he's quick, man. He's a really quick guy. I think the game on Friday against Palace, I think it was Jordan Ayew or one of the Palace players had a head start on him, and he caught him up within about literally 2 or 3 seconds. He's quick, man. I think he's quite decent on the ball from what I've seen. Let me come to the chat more quickly again. You people just saying, yeah, guys, if you want to drop a question into me. If it's Arsenal related, it'd be even better. But these things happen, man. But now, big up to you guys in the chat already on this Sunday evening. I can't even get the comment off the screen now. Is it gone? There it is. But people, like I said, share on the Twitter feed or X feed, shall I say now. But yeah, that was mad. The way that happened, man. Man just went shut down, man. I saw my face just freeze on the screen. I was like, oh my god, man, this is absolutely disgraceful stream. But now, big up to the guys for tuning in, man. It means a lot. So, yes. And last but not least, I actually heard about a game was it in France, in Ligue 1, it got abandoned because I think I saw pictures of one of the manager. He used to play for Italy, Fabio Grosso. He looked quite horrible scenes, actually. Not great to see. Don't want to see that at football at all. And also, I have to give a shout out to Gillingham Football Club for acting very, very swiftly, as you guys might have seen. When I got in yesterday from the game of Arsenal Sheffield United, there was a racial abuse incident of the highest order in Gillingham's home game against Newport. And they acted very, very quickly to get I'm being polite by saying you get the individual out of the ground and ban him for life, and we'll see what happens with that. What else happens? But yeah, well done for Gillingham for acting very, very quickly with that incident that happened yesterday. Because if players score a goal, don't care if it's a black player or not, should be allowed to celebrate it. As home fans, You know, we give away players a lot of stick. We do. But what we saw yesterday, completely unacceptable. Even I shared it on my ex feed yesterday. So yeah, big up Gillen for doing that. Yeah, I heard I saw the pictures, people sharing it. It's not. I mean, you don't want to see a manager in that condition, all bloody faced, and that's not football, man. Like this is going back to the dark days of the 70s, 80s, and no, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. I don't want to hear about fans are passionate, and that's complete nonsense. You step a line when you do things like that. You step over a line, 100%. But James, just in the chat, we're gonna talk about the mighty Arsenal and this man. Eddie Nketiah scores a hat-trick yesterday in Arsenal's 5-0 home win against Sheffield United. I was there, as many people know. I got to see some amazing people. Big shout out to Mike Feinberg, Ruth Beck, Art, and Mike's fantastic wife. Big up Guns Yellow Ribbons, Trev, Fergus, Capo Dan, who I saw at the game yesterday. Listen, I'm not a big drinker, so normally my routine is to probably get to the ground maybe an hour before kickoff. Go soak in the atmosphere, go in the concourse area, meet up with some of the guys who I collab with and who I've known over the last 2 or 3 years, and yeah, then go and watch the football. But yeah, Eddie cops a lot of opinion, to put it politely, on social media within the Arsenal fan base. These are my thoughts. You have to ask yourself the question as an Arsenal fan. Do you feel that Eddie Nketiah has been given a good opportunity at Arsenal? Absolutely, yes, he has. Because he has a manager that backs him 100%. You can see that in terms of bringing him on as a sub. You can see that in terms of the games he's started for Arsenal, and that he persists with him. I'll be honest, and I said this in a couple of group chats that I'm in, that I looked at Eddie's last 2 sub appearances, and when you come on as a sub, what you want to do is you want to make an impact on the game. I don't think he did that at all. One of the sub appearances was against Sevilla away. I'm not saying you should come on as a sub and absolutely tear up and boss the game. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, have you made an impact enough to help the team out when you come on as a sub? And I don't think he did. Yesterday, I thought he would start, and he did, because I don't think you're going to see a situation where Kai Havertz is going to play up top. We're going to come on to him in a little bit. But yeah, I was pleased for him to score a hat-trick yesterday. Some people might say that's his level in terms of maybe the quality of opposition that he played against Sheffield United, because they're poor, and I fear for them. Not just obviously us beating them yesterday, but I think they've got 1 point out of 10 games. I think Derby County's got the worst record in terms of points tally in a season when a team's been relegated. If this continues the way with the results of Sheffield United getting, this could be this could be an awful campaign in the Premier League for them. Even worse than what some of their fans might have thought before the start of the season. But they offered nothing. They made it very difficult for us in that first sort of 20-25 minutes, because what you want to do, before I carry on, Holly, do you like the glasses? I hope you like them, because I don't want to go blind as well like you are with the streams. But what you want to do is, I always break it down, particularly home games. Start well in the first 15 and get ahead. Start well first 15 and get ahead in games. Don't care who you're playing against. When we didn't get the first goal in 15, I mean, where I was sitting, there wasn't really major moans and groans. I've got to be honest, where I was sitting anyway. But I think the fact that we went in at half-time at least a goal up, if not 2 goals up, massive difference. And actually, when we got the goal to go 1-0 up, great balling by Declan Rice, by the way. That needs to get highlighted. Fantastic ball Eddie Nketiah. Great. The first touch from Eddie Nketiah was unreal. Then he slots it back in there to 1-0. And then I thought we was good. We was better for about 5-10 minutes. Because what I kind of saw in the first half was Saka wasn't really in the game, and he thought, you know what, I need to get into the game, and he kind of came onto the left hand side. Martinelli went central a little bit more, and Havertz sort of occupied the right hand side of the pitch a bit more, because he wasn't getting in the game. But what we did do well, second half, got the second goal quickly, and for me that killed the game. That completely killed the game. And for me, it's a case of how many more do Arsenal get? Eddie Greatfield, I don't know what took so long to decide that the goal stood. I mean, he went to VAR for a potential foul of the goalkeeper. There wasn't a foul. It's that simple. Great strike to make it 2-0 and an unbelievable hat-trick goal. I mean, flipping no, I don't care who you're playing against. You don't stop that as a goalkeeper. Fantastic strike. Pleased for him. I think Eddie is a plan B option. Again, Jesus is out for a few weeks, I believe, and Thomas Partey is injured. And it's annoying with Gabriel Jesus because he's only just come back from an injury, and he was superb against Sevilla the other night. He was different class actually. The assist and the goal. And then Thomas Partey was injured anyway, and yet he's injured again off the back of being injured. So I think with Thomas Partey, and I said this to a couple of guys in the group chats, that I'm at a stage now, and I'm talking purely about myself. Whatever happens this season, we need to move him on. He's not dependable. Yes, when he's fit, he makes a difference to our midfield. He elevates our midfield. But the problem is he's missed so many games in an Arsenal shirt due to injury. You can't depend on him. So I was surprised we didn't take the money for him if the rumors are true in terms of him going to Saudi Arabia. Because I just don't think we can rely on him. It's that simple for me. We can't. Hopefully it's not too serious him with the injury this time, but he's missing again. Declan Rice has been absolutely outstanding since he's come to Arsenal. But he can't do it on his own. Can't do it on his own. Yes, Jorginho's an adequate replacement in terms of he does the simple things well. And then he's obviously there as a backup and to shore things up when we're winning games like we did yesterday on 2s and 3-0s. But Partey for me is an issue, and I think if it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal did listen to offers in January, and that's just me personally speaking, not speaking for anybody else. But yeah, listen, you can only beat what's in front of you. 5-0 clean sheet. I think that is. Let me have a look, people. We've got a goal difference of plus 15. Clean sheets in the Premier League against Palace, Everton, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and Man City. And we've got 2 clean sheets in the last round against Brentford in the Carabao Cup. And also we've got a clean sheet against PSV at home in the Champions League. So the more we get those, the more I'll be happy with, because Arsenal need to eradicate. One of the reasons why they didn't get the league title last season, which still burns me, was our inability to not defend properly at home for me personally, and give away too many cheap goals. That's already happened this season in a few of the games. But rack them clean sheets up, get the back four, getting confident. Obviously, David Raya is the number 1 now at the moment as we speak in terms of goalkeepers. And yeah, we go from there. I don't know what you guys thought for some of the Arsenal guys that are in the chat. I thought Saka in the second half actually played all right. I thought he came into it a bit more. He came a little bit more central to pick up the ball. I thought the game was quite tailor-made for Zinchenko to play in, because what I want to see of him more, if you're going to play in that inverted central role, what I want to see is that he receives the ball a bit more on the half turn rather than he's back to goal, because all you're doing is you're just congesting the midfield area and we're not transitioning the ball quickly. And that's the issue. But that game worked perfect for him yesterday. But yeah, Eddie hat-trick. Tomiyasu gets his first goal for Arsenal, and obviously Fabio got a penalty. But yeah, Tomiyasu delighted with, man. I've got to be honest. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are probably a little bit worried in terms of Tomiyasu and his constant injuries because he started his Arsenal career well. I remember at the game when he had his debut against Norwich. He hadn't long been joined the club, so I don't think he would have had even probably maybe even one training session. And even then, in that small game, in that game against Sheff United, he's got a good turn of pace. He's good in the air. He offers us something offensively, which I didn't know he had in his game. Defensively, gets himself into very, very good positions, unlike Zinchenko, does the complete opposite when it comes to the defensive side of it. And he got his goal yesterday. And I said to Tom Canton, big up Tom Canton for Good Talk TV, went on his channel during the week, and I said to him that, you know, Tomiyasu, if you look at his time at Arsenal, he does get himself into some very good positions offensively, surprisingly. And he wasn't the player I would looked at during the Arsenal squad and thought, yeah, that's the guy to come in for Zinchenko to play the inverted role. But he's done it in this short space of time. And I guess time will tell whether he edges out Zinchenko out of the team or Mikel Arteta trusts him a bit more to come into the side. So, you know, we've got our next few games. If I got this right, West Ham in the Carabao Cup, Newcastle away Saturday, Champions League the Wednesday after next, I believe it is, or Tuesday, I can't remember. And then we've got Burnley at home on the 11th of November, and then we've got the national break. So games come thick and fast, man. And I think what was important on Saturday before I finish up, I'm 46 minutes in, it's gone longer than I thought, is that what you wanted to see yesterday was ESR got minutes and he played like someone that hasn't played for a long time. And for me, that's what I saw. When's the last time he played 90 minutes or 80 minutes or 70 minutes? Fabio Vera came on. Kai Havertz started. Reece Nelson got some minutes. So, you know, we need Kivior started as well. That's what I forgot. So we need these guys to come in and hit the ground running, which is not going to be easy because they're not playing week in, week out. But I think we're going to go away a little bit from last season in the sense that we played a lot of games with really a good 11, 12, 13 players. But he's going to have to rotate very well considering we've got Champions League. And then the FA Cup will come in January. So time will tell. And hopefully, injury-wise, it won't rack up even more. But let me come to chat quickly. Let's have a look. Let's go back to where I was. He said, man's rapid. Yeah, to Van der Ven. Now I was putting a question there. Will Eddie start against Newcastle? Feels like Arsenal didn't miss Jesus. So what we got Newcastle next Saturday, isn't it? So a week yesterday. It depends. The way they're talking about Jesus, I'm not sure he'll be ready for Newcastle unless he makes a rapid recovery. I think Eddie will start because I don't think he will play Havertz as a 9, as a striker. Because I think Havertz for me, and I said this on Everton Rosa channel, I keep saying it. I think for me, his role in the team, although you probably didn't pay £65 million for him to be an impact sub, you play him down the middle. He gives us a different direction. People talk about he makes space for others. You can do that playing in the striker position because of his height and his physicality. It gives us a different option. So I think Eddie will start definitely 100% against Newcastle. And if he scores, even better for him, better for the boss Arteta because he's backed him. And obviously, you know, it gets sections of the fan base off his back, I guess, really. Looking forward to the Newcastle Arsenal game, it'll be interesting. It will be, but if we play like we did against Chelsea, we'll get beat 4s and 5s, 100%. I want to see Tomiyasu starting that game. I don't want to see Zinchenko starting that game, personally speaking, because I think the Newcastle midfield with Longstaff and Guimaraes and Joe Linton will eat him alive. Physically, because Newcastle, they're like a team of athletes. Eddie Howe's got them so super fit. They've got Longstaff's physically imposing. Joe Linton's physically imposing. Callum Wilson is physically imposing. The boys at the back, you Dan Burn, Oh yeah, Botman's out at the moment. I think Lascelles has come back in. Fabian Shaw. So I'd be surprised if Tomiyasu doesn't start against Newcastle over Zinchenko. I'll be very shocked. Let me come to the chat quickly. Let me see. I wish I wasn't I'm there like 4 hours before. Yeah, I agree. I thought he played well in the second half. I thought he did. I thought he really stretched them badly, actually. Sheffield United. Ben White marauding down the right hand side. Almost again got a goal yesterday. Ben White's been good. I think he's been good this season. I think there were a couple of games I was like, started off a bit slowly, but he's looked good, Ben White, man. So glad he comes. I remember when he first joined our club, but some of the fans were not having it. They were not having it with him. They were not having it with Ramsdale. There's another player. I've got it in my head though, Brenny. But yeah, I want to speak lastly about this guy. I think I've touched on it anyway, but before I go, Kai Havertz, people. The questions are always asked in hundreds of millions of Arsenal group chats, the X space, the Instagram space. I went to the game yesterday. I'm not saying what I'm saying based off what I saw yesterday. I'm basing it off what I've seen this season with him. I thought he did okay. I don't think it was above that. I don't think it was below that. I just thought he was okay. It's a shame that you score 5 goals in a home game. Apologies. He didn't get on the end of anything. I just don't think. I think if you play him, and I've said this 100 times already, you play him down the middle. But what the only issue you got is he's not going to do that, Mikel Arteta, ahead of Jesus and ahead of Eddie Nketiah. He'll do that in the perfect example. He played Man City at home. He brought on Havertz with what was it, 15, 20 minutes to go, and he played him up top, and it made a huge difference. But he just does the neat and tidy things. And I had this conversation. I said, when you bring players into the club, you obviously want them to hit the ground running. Okay, doesn't always happen. Granted, people will say we've had better players at this football club who didn't start well. Your Robert Pires, your Dennis Bergkamps. Cool. Difference to them, they came into the Premier League coming from a different country, a different style of football. Bergkamp didn't have a good time at Inter Milan. That's well documented. And he came to Arsenal and he struggled. Different pace, whatever. Havertz has been in the Premier League for 3 years before he's come to us. That's a difference for me. I've never come out and said he's terrible. I think he has got some technical ability. I've also said that I think this is a signing that it would be Arteta's death warrant. Because it's different if he goes on a run and scores, I don't know, 6 goals in 9 games or 6 goals in 10 games. Because goals change, goals elevate your game, goals get people talking. We can't just turn around and give him a penalty when winning 3 or 4 at Bournemouth and get the confidence up. And that was great at the time, but we need to be a bit more ruthless and a bit more, come on, like nobody wants a player to come to Arsenal not do well, right? But from what I've seen so far, I'm not sure you're gonna get a major drastic improvement in terms of his performances. What you're going to see is you're going to see somebody that can defensively give us a bit more, gives us a bit more in terms of height and physicality, potentially in playing a different route of football. And he will attract opposition midfielders and defenders and make space for other players. I get that, but I personally think from what I've seen so far, I don't think you're going to see a major upturn in his performances. People might think that's negative, but I can't lie and say something that I don't believe is true based on what I've seen so far in terms of he's going to be a world beater and, he needs time and everybody needs time, but you got to see what you're doing in that time. You got to see what he's doing in that time frame in the games of what you've seen. And I think some Arsenal fans probably by and large are thinking, you expect to see a little bit more. When you see the likes of Bob's like Liverpool and McAllister at Liverpool and Edson Alvarez at West Ham and James Maddison at Tottenham, you do think to yourself, "Hmm, maybe we could have brought in another profile of player like a Kai or Granit Xhaka or whatever way you want to phrase it, that could done have had a bit more of an impact than what Kai's given so far." And that's my own honest, humble opinion. But people, weekly surgery is over. Big up to the people in the chat. Smash the like button on the way out. I will put this on the audio. You might have a little bit of a gap, audio listeners, because there's a bit of technical issues, I believe, with YouTube. It wasn't just myself, because I was talking and talking and talking, and my face froze. You heard me talking, but you couldn't see me, or you couldn't see me and you couldn't hear me talking. So it's either one of those ones. But yeah, big up to the people for tuning in on this Sunday night. It's much appreciated. But people, if you don't know what to do by now, this is what you should do. There you have it. Smash a thumbs up on Facebook, reshare on the X page, and also smash a like and subscribe to Albert J TV on YouTube. And obviously, audio listeners, like I said, I will put this on the Spotify download and I'll put it on the Apple downloads. And my social media is going along the bottom of the screen as long as we speak, and it's also on my top. As you're watching the screen on is it my left or right? Top left. I can't remember anymore. I forgot. Almost at the hour in, but yeah, big up to the chat. Like I said, man. Yeah, weekly surgery is now closed, people. Episode 26. Plenty to discuss. Superstar Jude Bellingham, Manchester Derby, and of course Eddie's hat trick and Arsenal winning 5-0 against Sheffield United. But that is me, Albert J TV, over and out. Up the Arsenal.